Welcome back for a not book review. I know, surprise, surprise. Every once in a while I do these. So I wanted to talk about how I am going to be starting a new series on my channel because it's something that I would like in my own witchcraft, and I'm like, two birds, one stone, let's do it. So I have not a book for my Book of Shadows. I have multiple binders. It lives in multiple places because I am crazy. So I like to have things very organized, and I want to just go to a specific thing and have just that thing. So for instance, like my book reviews, while it's cool to post them online, I also want it as a reference because sometimes the memory is not great. And so I have been typing them out, hence all of the sections this year. It's pretty much from here on out, but the like brief description, the rating, intended audience, all that jazz, I have that typed up so that I can hit print, and then I'll have a binder of all of the witchy books I have read, and then when there's sections that I really love in books, I can refer back to where it is in these books because I'm like, I remember I liked stuff. What was the page? What was this? What was it? It's there. So I have like my book of books, but I also have now different books of shadows. It's like the Book of Shadows, book of blah, 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 because I have a lot of books, which is really just a fancy way of saying binders. I have a lot of binders for a lot of things for the witchery. So I have like my book of experiences, where I have like my journal, my tarot readings, mostly tarot. Sometimes I do oracle and sometimes like runes, but really it's tarot. Have my reading section, have like when I do a ritual, I write it down, and if I do a spell, same thing. So I have like that section of like the Book of Shadow binder shelf, really. And I'm also now adding in some different ones, such as my Book of Mythology. That one is going to be happening on Patreon, where once a month I'm going to deep dive into a particular deity, write down some stuff on them, and then have it live there because I want to know more about some deities, because like mostly Norse right now and like some random ones too. Like I would love to know more about like Brigid, her time's coming up, but also like Heimdall. I think he's the rainbow god. That's about it. And not like rainbow, but like the rainbow of Norse mythology. Like it's a specific thing in there, and that's like his thing, I think. And then he has a horn, I think. That's about it. So I want to have a book of mythology because I want to be able to be like, who? Who? And I can have it there. So like I'm gonna have that. And then I'm also now starting, which is going to be on this channel, my Book of Stones and my Book of Plants. So these two are going to be theoretically-ish my weekend projects. So I want to talk about a specific stone and then a specific plant-ish. Just think plants is like anything that like grows. Like your herbs, foods, spices, stuffs, plants, and then rocks, basically. And so I know that there's gonna be specifics that it's like technically not or something, but for the most part, like that's the game plan, is something to do with plants, something to do with rocks, because we witches love both. So for the Book of Plants, I'm planning to talk a lot about like food magic because like I'm very intrigued by it. We talk about like your seasonings very frequently because you would add those into like incense blends of like add your thyme and your rosemary and like your garden sage. That's all well and good, but like when I'm making potatoes, what is the use of a potato? And like when you make like chocolate cake, I want to start having that kind of stuff. Obviously I'm mostly focusing on like ingredient things. So like, you know, I started to look and I made a list of like my go-to items that I cook with very frequently. I'm like, what is this? Like raspberries. What is the magic of those? And same with rocks. I've been cleaning through our house and it's like, we have a lot of stones. Let's talk about them because I only know a handful. So especially like right off the top of the head, like I feel like every witch kind of has like their go-to couple things, but I'd like to have more in my knowledge base. So to have, you know, the usuals like the quartz family, and then having like tiger's eye and, you know, even like sapphire, because that's what my stone is, and, you know, just having different things. And so I want to have those as well, and to have the information for them in their happy little books, their happy little binders, so that when I need to do anything and I need to reference back, it's there. For right now, I mean, I might do eventually different things too with these. This is a very easy topic to branch off into because I could have like, I do want to have like a book of recipes to have for like, when I want to cook witchery, I want to have a recipe book and then also include like the magical side of it. Like to make like an apple tart, like have the recipe but also like the magic behind it to do like some kitchen witchery. I'm loving that right now. And so I'm just planning to do right now just general plants and general stones of like, again, clear quartz. Let's talk about clear quartz and then let's talk about like blueberries because I have like a little parfait every morning. So it's like, talk about those things or talk about broccoli and like, what's the magic of that? Just talking about these different things as I'm making the pages in this book. So if you wanted to follow along, you could make your own book of whatever or add the secret section in your book of shadows. Because I feel like most people aren't crazy like me who wants to have multiple binders to keep track of. You just have one book, but I like them separate so that when I'm looking for a specific thing, I can just theoretically go to my bookshelf and just grab it and be like, ta-da! Got it, I got the thing I need, it's in here, wonderful. And I love the binder system, I've told this before, because you can change it. You can move the pages around as you need, which is what I need in my life because that can be a problem when it's a little too much. Because again, I have a lot of things, especially spells. Spells is the big book. I have a lot of collected spells. So to have them all in one place only, and then eventually to have like the Wheel of the Year and different rituals and stuff like that is gonna be one. But for now, I wanna focus on plants and 4 stones. So for each one, I have a basic section of stuff that I'm gonna fill out. So for both stones and plants, it's going to have zodiacs associated. I don't know if it's gonna matter to me. I just feel like if I'm gonna have that reference, I should probably just have the references. So zodiac, the elements associated, which it can get a little complex because like wouldn't all stones, actually both of them, wouldn't they both just be related to earth because it grows from the earth and like, you know, it, I guess you could technically argue that a stone also grew from the earth, like it was forged in the earth a long time ago, like, but whatever. The elements associated, chakra associated, deities, because a lot of times there's deities associated, like apples. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of the deities. And then the more practical of magical properties of like, hey, when I want to grab asparagus, which I don't because I hate it, but if I wanted to grab asparagus, what is going to be the magical properties of this thing? And then spell suggestions, because a lot of times when you go to look up this stuff, they include spells and like random bits to do. So I figured if there's some that I might like stumble across, I'll be like, cool, I'll just like add that in and just have that be like an ongoing section really, because again, it'll be like, hey, did you know that if you sprinkle like cinnamon in your morning coffee, then you can use that for happiness or for prosperity or for love or whatever. Those little snippety snips, they're gonna go into the spell suggestions. So anyways, I'm planning to do that for both the stones and for the plants. And then again, if I mention other things for like different book of whatevers, you know, like, because again, this is book of stones, book of plants, and then the book of mythology is gonna be over on Patreon. Like, if I decide to do other things, I can. I feel like this is a series that will pretty much never end because I feel like I could go for a long time. There's a lot of rocks to choose from. There is a lot of plants and foods to choose from. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know if we could get very specific of like a Granny Smith apple versus like a like Red Delicious or whatever. Like, can we get that specific? I don't know if I can find that kind of information, if we have that kind of information, or if it's just more generalized. But there's a lot that I can do for a long time for this, and since it's only going up mostly on the weekends, or if I need a fill-in day, these are gonna be great to just be like, well, we're not missing an upload this year. It's gonna keep going. So anyways, yeah, that's the new series that I've got planned for a while. I figured I would just announce it because why not? And also I was going to start this and then I still haven't, so I figured we're gonna do this video and then we'll do one of those maybe whenever you see this. I don't know if I'm posting this on a Saturday or a Sunday, so either you're seeing a new one tomorrow or it's going to be next week. A huge thank you as always to my patrons. If you want to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day. And until next time, thank you so much for watching and blessed be.